Okay, today we've got the Factor 55 Prolink XTV. This is actually the a closed system for UTVs. That's what it looks like coming out of the box. I did get this on Amazon. It comes with a little sticker and some instructions. I'm just going to go over the capacities real quick. That way, if you're ordering shackles, what I recommend to use with this, there's actually a rope shackle. I'll put a link to that in the description. You can get that on Amazon or direct from the vendor. But basically, it's just a knotted system that basically won't hurt this anodized finish. Me, I don't care. I'll probably just use shackles. But that's what most people do with these. Generally, I've only seen these on Jeeps. This is the first one that I've seen that actually goes on the RZR. It looks about the right size. I'm just going to give you some rough dimensions here. It's about 2.18 inches round and about 2.9 tall. So basically round and then tall. It looks like it'll accommodate a 3/4 inch shackle, and you'll have a just a little bit of spare room in the shackle to fit that through. Comes with a little rubber mount. One thing I'll mention: don't try to pull this rubber mount out. I've seen the Jeep ones. Basically, they have a capture post, and if you pull on this, it'll actually pull this plastic through. And pretty much, I think this one, I know the larger one has a titanium pin, but I'm pretty sure that's titanium as well. This thing's really light, and it just has a snap ring. So all you do is you just take your old one off. This is the bump stop and everything, so there's less sticking out in front of the RZR, which is always a good thing. But I'm going to go ahead and install this real quick. Okay, so the first step is you need to get the hook off. And we'll also take this rubber space off, because you won't need the stopper anymore. In case you're wondering, I think this is a KFI stopper. Works really good. The hook and everything works fine. The only thing I don't like is it sticks so far out the RZR, and I'm not a real big fan of the hooks because inevitably you bend this little safety piece off. This one still works really good, but I've had to take really good care of it. And typically, if you've ever done winching, usually you're the one sitting in the RZR and someone else is operating your winch cable. So the amount of care you take may not be the care they take. And again, with a closed loop system, you can pretty much look at it and see if you've got a major issue. This, I don't know how many times I've been on the trail winching and the line just fall limp when we start pulling on it because somebody didn't get something connected or got confused about how the rigging was set up. And these screws, they have a lot of nylon nylock washers. So it's taking me a little bit to get them off. Another thing I'll mention, this is going to be a whole lot easier to keep clean. If you daub this thing down in the mud or it gets dropped in the mud, there's lots of little crevices that mud and dirt can go. This one's still got a little bit in it. That's going to be pretty clean. Really, the only slot in it's on the rear, and that should be really easy to clean out. So just a note, I've only had to ever replace one winch cable, but this is a pain to get on and off. So as a plus to this is going to be a lot easier to get on and off if you have to ever put a spare winch cable on, which I recommend. You might as well carry it with you. It doesn't weigh anything. It's really small. This requires a plethora of tools. When I bought it, I realized that a standard socket, the socket thickness, you could barely get the thing in the rubber mount. This Cobalt kit's got some really thin wall sockets, so it goes together a little easier. Okay, that should be free. Now I should be able to manhandle this out. Save some parts here just in case I ever have to use this again. And most of these hooks are just cotter pinned in. Just be kind of gentle with it when you straighten the cotter pin out, otherwise you'll be fighting with a cotter pin, which sometimes happens regardless. We'll save the hook. And I'm probably going to leave my little winch grab even though you really don't need it with this on. Just mainly for looks. But the way this works, I've already took out the snap ring. Give you a close up here. So this is a titanium rod and it basically slides in. Kind of see there what it does. So you put your hook in, slide this in, then put your retaining ring in. One word of caution, that retaining ring is really small, so make sure that you're really careful when you're putting it in, otherwise you'll lose it. And in this box there's not an extra, so but basically this just slides in. Looks like I got plenty of clearance. Drop the pin in and now we're connected. And you can see that makes a lot cleaner connection to the cable. It really helps to have a really good set of snap ring pliers, and you'll probably be able to get, it's pretty deep in there. I'm going to get it started with these, and then I'll probably actually go back in and press with a screwdriver. So I just got it kind of started in the bore there. Almost got it in the first pass. And the slots on these are not super deep. You'll kind of have to just eyeball it and look and make sure that you've got the ring in the slot. You don't want it vibrating loose. One thing I suggest is kind of, you prop on the back side, it'll pull the back up into the slot. And obviously you can tell as you've got it, the best thing to do is use a pick and just kind of rotate the slot ring. You want to grab the far end and it should rotate around in the slot. And this one looks good. And just for my OCD, I'm going to line this up. And just make sure that I've got a good connection. Okay, so I mean it would go if I press this down and packed it in. But this is probably going to get in the way, so I want to remove this pull strap. I just don't like the way it looks. Okay, we got it back out. Drop the pin out. Pull that off. Put it back together. I'll put our clip back in. We'll be good. Okay, one thing I noticed is this has an eyelet in it. And it's actually hitting the fair lead, which has left a little abrasion, which I'm going to have to clean up. So basically this is pulling up and it's not going in like so. it actually loaded at an angle and caused some abrasion there to the fair lead. So let me clean up this fair lead. I don't see anything about that in the documentation. And almost every winch cable that I've got has got this little eyelet. It looks like what I'll need to do is I'll need to shorten this eyelet, which shouldn't take me too long. But if you buy one of these, be careful. You know, this is made a little indention and a sharp right there, and I'll clean that off with a file real quick, and we'll need to take this back out again. Okay, we've got this back off. The way to get this, I basically just take something, and you basically want to rub it against the metal up underneath the cable, and you can pull this eyelet out. Like so. And we're going to need to shorten the eyelet. Get an idea here how much shorter we need it. Okay, and then I'm going to take this and put it in a vise and cut it off with a bandsaw. Okay, basically we cut the eyelet and shortened it, and now I'm just cleaning up any rough edges. Anytime this cable is really strong, the one thing it does not like is abrasion. So if you have a source of abrasion, make sure that you get rid of it. Always check your fair lead, make sure you don't have any spots in it. If you do, most of them are made out of aluminum and are pretty easy to clean up. And this is a pretty critical point on the rope, so make sure that you do a really good job about deburring it. I'm just filing a little and feeling a little, making sure that I get everything off. And there we're about back where we were at, except we've shortened that up considerably. Just want to kind of eyeball it here, make sure we're going to clear. I think I'm still going to be out about 1/16 of an inch. So I'm going to pull this off again, take it over to the grinder, and I'm going to grind about 1/16 of an inch off of this. Okay, we got everything cleaned up. Took a file and filed this off where it kind of dinged up the fair lead. Took a little Scotch-Brite, cleaned that up, got it polished, and now we've got no issue with clearance. This sucks all the way in flush and doesn't dig in. So if you do get one of these, make sure that you're prepared to machine something. I don't know that the bend radius of this pin is as good as what that eyelet is. It'll definitely prevent a lot of stress on this cable by having an eyelet. If I had a lot more time, I'd probably just machine one. But this works, and let me suck it back in here and I'll kind of show you what it looks like. Okay, that's winched up. I don't have it super tight, but I've got it where it's not going to pull out or make any noise. But it looks good. Generally, it's always kind of up. I don't know if it's just happenstance, but it's always lining up like this almost every time it comes up. I guess that's probably just the way the winch cable's twisted right now. Anyway, hope that saves you some time if you ever buy one of these. That's one of the issues I ran into. Overall, the manufacturability of these is pretty simple. I've actually made one of these. It's not quite as nice as this, but these are pretty simple to machine out of aluminum. But buying one from Factory 55, it's a nice made unit. The only thing is you need to be aware of the eyelet problem. And be prepared to make or manufacture something to work. Another thing I'll say is the snap ring groove isn't very deep, so it's a little hard to get the snap ring in and make sure that it's seated. But anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one.